welcome back to the Street Angels show here in the heart of Hollywood at Zena.tv studios. I am Mandolyn Reese, and I'm known as the Street Angel. I wear positive posters front and back, and I promote messages of kindness all over the country. So I've got a couple of my posters that I brought with me, and I hung on the walls in various areas. So, I promote positivity, do volunteer work, donation drives, and charity support, all in attempts to get people to wake up and work together for the greater good. And the purpose of the show is to help others, and I like to share amazing content and information to open people's minds on my talk show. I like to pick guests who are changing the world through their work and service to others. And so today's show is kind of about healers. And I'd like to thank a sponsor who is also in a similar business. He is a massage therapist. Thank you, Art Sand, for supporting my Angel Project and sponsoring the portion of this talk show. And you can reach him. He works in downtown Los Angeles, and he does sports massage, so you can contact him on his website, sportsmassageextreme.com. Thank you, Art Sand. And without further ado, I would like to introduce my wonderful guest today, Dr. Peter Michael. And here he is.
Hello.
How's it going? Thank you for coming.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. And so he did work on me, and I would like to, share it. So he's with, his website is www.themichaelmethod.com, and we have a picture of his website if you would like to look into him and his story. He kind of, shares how he got into transformational healing bodywork that he's been doing since 1975, and he's got testimonials. So you've been in this business a long time and helped a lot of people. You want to tell us what you do?
I help people to relieve themselves of chronic pain that may have been happening for years. I've worked in pain clinics helping people who have had everything the medical world could offer them, everything.
Right.
And
people who are chronically
in pain on morphine, on narcotic medications, still in pain, still disabled. I help them to get better. Some of them get a lot better, some of them get a little better, but when you are in that much pain,
right,
a little better is
it's an improvement.
Really important.
Right.
Yeah. So it's very gratifying to do that for people.
Yeah.
And I kind of had to find my own way because I don't know anybody else doing quite what I'm doing.
Yeah, you described it as some kind of melting.
That's a metaphor that I made up to account for what I experienced.
But how did you word it? It was like a muscle melting, or what did you call it?
Well, that's the metaphor that I made up, that when I'm touching the muscles in a certain way and using my body energy and kinetic energy, it's as if it's creating a pressure wave that melts glue that stuck the muscles into a hard, fixed position.
The adhesions and...
Yeah, if there are such.
Right.
That's also somebody else's metaphor that needs to be validated.
Tightness.
Science is all about proving metaphors to be true. And some of the great metaphors of the last 2 centuries have recently been pretty much exploded by quantum biology, which is looking at a deeper level that we're only able to look at now with the kind of equipment that we have. Heretofore, subatomic was a mystery world. They didn't know what went on there. And now that they know, it changes a lot of what we assumed about DNA and genetic inheritance and evolution and so on.
Right.
Even how the brain works and where the brain really is.
Yeah.
So
go
ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I had a treatment with you, but did you want to keep? Okay.
Not at all.
So I went and saw him, and he worked on me. And for me, what it felt like was a tolerable, deep tissue work. Usually when I would go get a deep tissue massage, it's very, very painful and almost unbearable. But with your technique, it was such a smooth, gentle pressure. It was deep, but it was like I could take it, and it felt like it was helpful to my muscles. And the more he worked on me as it progressed through the session, the lighter I could feel. Like I felt my vibe raise, and is that
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it made sense for, he's almost like pressuring out the negative stuff or the pain, and melting it and away. And so I did feel, nicer and better and lighter afterwards. So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think we talked about, I wanted to book another session so he could work on this neck problem I mentioned in my last episode. But you have some other testimonials, right? So somebody who had a really chronic issue you helped with?
Thousands, actually, at
Thousands.
this point. Yeah, working in pain clinic, doing 12 or 14 patients a day for 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and all of them were set to be classified as permanent and stationary, meaning that they were going to be dismissed from their workers' comp claim, not receive any more support because they'd been in the system for 5 years, receiving everything they had to give them, and in the last year made no progress.
Wow.
If you're stalled for a year, then you're called permanent and stationary, and those were the people they gave me, and I've fixed them according to their criteria of fix, 80% of them over 6 years' time. So
Well, what a blessing to
Yeah,
those
well,
people,
to me too, I got to do that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Really.
So we have pictures of his website. I wanted to just go through them a little bit. It's themichaelmethod.com, and it also has a picture of your work studio. It was a very comforting place. It's
Full of plants.
Where would you describe your location? It's kind of north of the 10, kind of Beverly Hills-ish, sort
It's
of.
south of Wilshire, north of Olympic. It's west of Robertson and east of La Cienega.
Okay, so it's
Right in the middle
I
of
love
that
how,
square.
and there's him working on a patient. He has a lot of beautiful plants. It's a very soothing environment, private, and he made me feel very safe and comfortable. So, ladies, if you have some chronic pain, don't be afraid to book with him. He's a very gentle soul. He made me feel comforted. And you also, share nice advice during the session too.
Well, a lot of my work is teaching because
Right.
I want to create a different paradigm for how to live in your body. The one that we all are trained into contains a lot of direction to tense this and hold that and pretend such to create posture. And the posture that it creates is very awkward and artificial
Yeah.
compared to what it could be.
Well, especially when people spend so much of their time now on laptops and computers and, in airplanes sitting, and then also on our phones and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You know?
notice how I'm sitting.
Straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm totally relaxed in this position, as relaxed as I can be. Imagine what it'd feel like for me to sit like this.
Right.
That's
People
what
don't pay
people
attention
sit
to their
like.
posture.
That's what chairs do to you. Chairs require, if you're going to sit in them and sit up back and lean in the backrest, it puts your chest behind your pelvis so that all the weight of your chest is sitting in your lumbar spine, not balanced on top of it in its natural curve.
Right.
So it compresses, you get pinched nerves and blown discs and surgeries and misery.
Yeah. I think I might actually be suffering with back issues, possibly partially from wearing wings for so many years. Like in between my shoulder blades, I have a lot of tension. And the problem was I was wearing angel wings like all the time, not 24/7, but many zillion times a week. And for years, and I would tie them directly to my body. And I
So
realized,
your shoulders are holding them up.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
torturing me. So
Yeah.
that's why I've graduated to this like shoulder thing. I don't know if you can see it very good, but I tie the wings on this shoulder support thingy, and it's cool because they actually have wings like you can't see it, but it's like etched into the leather. So anyway, it takes the pressure off my body, and so
Good
now I
job.
can work on improving my back and spine and muscles.
I'll teach you.
Yeah, so he does kind of teach you during the session how to hold a better posture.
And I'm developing an educational program that I'm going to be presenting in November to a large group of people in a big high-rise office building in Santa Monica,
Wow.
teaching them how to sit all day at the computer
That's
and feel just as good at the end of the day as they did at the beginning.
Ergonomics.
Yeah.
It's important. So you had an incident when you were young. You worked in fields that were sprayed with Agent Orange and pesticides. So you want to tell us, like, that's how your health problems ended up getting into healing work.
Well, yeah, there are several things about my journey into healing work that are really significant to me, learning as a small child about looking at the night sky and seeing just how big it was, and realizing in my mind going to, wow, that's really vast, and starting to think about the distance between things. And one of the things that happened is that I saw a picture of an atom and a picture of a solar system at the same time and thought, whoa, they look a lot like each other. The universe is so big. What if the atoms are little solar systems?
Right.
And what if our solar system is the atom in somebody else's body? Whoa.
Right.
And then my mind just went from there,
Yeah, it can
creating
blow your
images.
mind when you try to think about the size of the universe. Like, I mean, when I'm in an airplane, that's when it's my most mind-blowing moment, because when you're looking down, depending on where you are from the earth, like, people are like the size of ants. So then it's like, then I had this whole new respect for ants, because I'm like, just because they're very small doesn't mean they're not made up of the same divine, makeup of metaphysical parts and atoms and things. Like, they're, it just blows your mind when you think of it from a metaphysical and
Indeed,
quantum perspective.
And wonder is a wonderful place to live from.
Yeah.
To have that sense.
That's why I'm into spirituality, and I'm always trying to tell people more about it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. That was the birth of my spirituality, looking at the night sky and realizing, oh my God.
But tell us about, what were your symptoms with the Agent Orange and pesticides?
Yeah, I started working in a nursery when I was 14 and loved it. And by 19, I was running the whole production department, and I'd spent 3 summers running the spray rig. And we were spraying 4 different insecticides and Agent Orange, which is a weed killer. We were spraying on the ground, on the weeds. And I was walking around dressed in shorts and nom boots, we called them, and nothing else. And so the mist of all of that was just getting all over me.
And breathing it.
For 3 years, and breathing it. And I had no symptoms for 11 years. And then it started to show up. My skin on the flexor surfaces of my arms and legs started to like swell up, turn purple, drip fluids, and itch like I can't even describe it. And
Terrible.
That lasted for 20 years.
20 years of skin problems?
20 years
that
of
showed
hellacious pain, burning, and itching. And I had to learn to control my body so that I didn't tear my skin off. I spent a lot of time scratching.
You spent
really
20
hard.
years suffering like that?
Yes,
and
I
then,
learned
so how did you connect it to the pesticides?
Well, it took 20 years because the medical doctors and dermatologists that I went to had no clue. And the only things they gave me were things that would kill my liver.
Topical? Okay.
Yeah, prednisone that would damage my liver. I couldn't use those either. I just had to gut it out.
So then there was a blood test?
What happened was a friend of mine referred me to this chiropractor who did muscle testing on me. And in 30 seconds, he said, oh, my God, you have massive chemical poisoning. Go see my friend. He's got a diagnostic device that's illegal in the United States, but they use it in Germany. They use it in England. It's a homeopathic computer system that measures the vibrational frequencies of tens of thousands of different compounds, and within a half hour he actually named the exact insecticides I had used.
Wow.
And so then he referred me back to the chiropractor. He started treating me with a product that was not harmful to me at all. It was a glandular, I don't know what you'd call it.
Some kind of homeopathic
Yeah,
remedy.
it was a remedy that was made from the parotid gland of cows.
And it fixed it.
And it helped to leach out all that stuff. And in 9 months, I was over it.
Wow.
And
9
fine.
months after 20 years of suffering.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
my
insane.
God. It was life-changing. And,
So that got you interested in healing work.
well, that got me interested in relieving pain,
Okay.
specifically relieving pain. That was my passion from then on. It still is.
So then what kind of trainings have you gone through?
Well, in my youth, I was a gymnast. I was a ballet dancer for 6 years, martial arts. So I gained a very
Wow.
fine sense of my body position and structure.
Okay.
And then when I got Rolfed, and Rolfing is one of those that are very painful systems, but a fabulous system for changing body structure. And I was so excited about the freedom that I'd gained and the structural integrity that I could feel that I decided this is it. I want to do this. I mean, I had doctorate in philosophy and a master's in theology, and I'd been a carpenter, assistant superintendent on a high-rise building. I'd done a lot of different things.
Wait, what is Rolfing again?
Rolfing is a connective tissue manipulation system. Their paradigm is their metaphor for what they're doing is stretching connective tissue. To stretch it, you really have to push on it. Well, I don't think it stretches. If you think about it, tendons connect muscles to bones. If the tendon stretched when you contracted your muscle, the bone wouldn't need to move. It just stretched the tendon. They don't stretch. So it's a lot of force doing something else. But that metaphor is a little awkward and doesn't quite fit for me. And so I just made up my own version of that. After doing Rolfing for a while, getting advanced training with Joseph Heller, who developed Hellerwork, was a brilliant teacher and really was like the best thing that happened to me. Training privately with him, then training with Judith Aston, who brought movement into that whole process. And what was quickly discovered was when the Rolfers moved in a different way, so their bodies were balanced and more relaxed, the client immediately reported, that doesn't hurt so much. And Judith, being a genius, she created a whole new system. I trained with her for several years. Then I really started wanting to work with pain, and that was forbidden within the community because, you get in trouble with medical world like that. Well, I didn't care. I don't follow the rules when they don't make sense to me. So
right.
I just went ahead and started working with people who were in pain. And not long after that, I got a call from a orthopedist's office who said, Dr. Negri wants you to come in here and tell him what he's doing on your patients. Turned out because they were getting better. And he wanted to know why.
Like how?
How, yeah. What's going on here? What are you doing? And he didn't want to find out to get me in trouble. He wanted to find out so he could get
help
that
more
for his
people.
patients. Because he was the
Well, that's
orthopedic
good.
consultant to the American Academy of Physical Medicine. He was
wow.
like the top guy.
Wow.
And so he could get away with having a weirdo like me in his office working on his patients. It's a little outside
So you got
the
to
box.
work in his office.
He treated me so well. I got to go on rounds with him.
Wow.
I got to sit in when he was evaluating patients. Then he'd refer his patients to me, and they would get better.
That's amazing.
And I worked with him until he had a heart attack and had to retire.
Aw.
But I learned a lot in that environment. So I continued to work with pain and using my tools, which were gentle. In my world, pain is wrong and bad. And if I'm doing something on a person and it hurts, I stop. I do it a different way because it works better.
Right.
When you're in pain, you resist, and when you resist, your muscles are contracting, so they're not really yielding
Right.
and absorbing the energy that I'm putting into it. They're blocking
Let me
it.
add in a tip.
Yeah.
If you do make an appointment with, Dr. Peter Michael, I say be open and relaxed to it. If there is something that, the melting that he does, if you do feel pain, speak up and say, hey, can you just go a little lighter, right? You say to do that.
Speaking
because
up
you need
is
to be
rewarded
comfortable.
by it's not hurting anymore.
Right.
It's a
So
pretty
I just
simple
wanted to make sure
deal.
I added that in
Yeah,
because I
thank
do
you.
recommend people see you, but it's a collaborative experience. You're receiving it, he's giving it. Be open to it, but work together for the highest benefit for you.
Yeah,
So let me think.
me too.
I know we only have like a minute or two left.
Oh my goodness.
Can I just say, how can people contact you?
Oh, well, on my website is a phone number.
The Michael
Don't
Method.
text, don't call because I probably can't answer because I'm working. Text me and I'll call you back. We'll have a conversation. You can tell me what your challenges are. I can tell you how I can help you. And
You
can
do a
decide
free
whether-
phone consultation.
Free phone consultation,
So
yeah,
give him a call,
absolutely.
tell him your problems, and he can talk to you about what he does and maybe schedule you. And
Yeah.
I would like to also share my website. I do healing work more on the spiritual. So I do sound therapies and sound therapy tools, healing work, shaman tools. So it's a different level that he's working on. And so, yeah, did we show my website? I can't remember. Oh.
I have to go back to the other.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, that I just want to thank, there's my website. Okay. So yeah, you can book with me, check out my testimonials and services as well for the spiritual stuff. And I want to thank Peter Michael for coming in and sharing your story and, what you do. Did you want to say something about that book really quick?
Well, yeah, this
Very
book is
briefly.
amazing. Bruce Lipton.
Show it to the,
Yeah,
pick it
okay.
up. There you go. What is it about?
It's about quantum biology,
Ah.
and it changes everything.
Okay.
It's
cool.
really
I
astounding.
just wanted to make sure you showed
Yeah.
it since you
First
brought
of all, it scientifically proves that the mind in thought can influence the body.
Right.
So that all that kind of healing that is all considered all weird, it's solid science.
And that's why, people who have chronic injuries, like sometimes doctors tell them, oh, you're never going to walk, but they end up walking. Why? Because they got it in their mind that, well, I want to walk and I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
And
Miraculous
mind,
healing
body,
is a fact.
Exactly. And I actually saw a thing about a guy who was in a plane crash and he was like totaled, his body was totaled. But because he used his mind to heal himself, he's able to walk and talk and be normal again after they said you're going to be a marshmallow,
Yeah.
So just
that's
remember that, people. You got to use your mind to heal. And so, okay, that's it for today's show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for the support and kind comments. And thank you for my sponsors for helping support this mission to bring this knowledge to more people. Love everybody and be kind to each other. All right, bye.
Bye.
To see